Hello, my lovely bookish friends. We meet again. How are you all doing? I hope you have got a nice and cozy with something hot or, iced since it's summer outside. So, today is a special one. We are doing my July reading wrap up, and I'm not gonna lie, this month was all over the place for me. There were books that I literally finished in a few days, and then there were books that I honestly dragged myself through for what felt like an eternity. Anyway, get ready for some love, some hate, and a whole lot of letters. Let's get into it. The Museum of Innocence, a confession that made me question everything I believed. I always thought men didn't really know how to love, like it's always shallow, selfish, and then I read Pamuk, and now I honestly don't know what to think. Gonna be real, at first this book was so a struggle. I was dragging myself through every page, drowning in all these details and emotional chaos, almost quit it, but I didn't. So what is it about? Turkey, the 70s, back when a girl's innocence was her biggest treasure. Nothing before marriage, period. But there were already bold, free-spirited girls who lived for pleasure, made men happy and were happy themselves, and accidentally broke hearts along the way. So here's a Kemal, here's about to get engaged, shopping for a gift for his fiancée, and then he sees Fisoon, just a regular girl, but so alive, so raw, so full of emotion, and bam, his whole world just flips. I never bought into love at the first sight, never happened to me in the real life, but Pamuk writes with so much tenderness, so much intensity that I almost believe in it. Almost let myself melt. And then it gets really sad. Kemal lives a double life every single day, planning a wedding with a Sibel, wise, patient, understanding woman, and at the same time holding Fisoon's hands, promising her forever. He doesn't even know who he loves more. And this isn't some men's are assholes story. It's about how your heart can tear in two and you just can't choose. And you end up feeling so bad for all of three of them. So, who does Kemal pick? The one who gives him emotional roller coasters or the one who accepts him as he is and forgives the unforgivable? The ending of this book destroyed me completely. I finished it with my jaw dropped, completely shocked, because I didn't see that coming. And a fun fact for paperback readers, if you open a physical copy, you can get a free entry to the real museum Kemal built for Fisoon in Istanbul. And yes, this story is based on a real person's life, a man who loved that deeply. This is not a light weekend read. It's a deep dive into 70s Turkey, Istanbul, Sharia laws, women's rights, or the lack of them. But beyond all that heavy stuff, it's a full journey through the Istanbul itself. Mary Ellen Taylor Honeysuckle season. So today we are talking about a book that starts with one of the weirdest questions I've ever heard. Did you bury a bottle of brew at your wedding? I know, right? I thought it was a joke at first, but apparently in this story it's like the ritual for a long and happy marriage. Take this. One couple, for example, the ones our main character Libby was hired to take a picture of. They decided to skip that little tradition, and guess what? Within the half an hour, their perfect day was completely gone, like completely washed away, literally. Rain flooded the altar, and even the priest ran off yelling, "This is a bad omen." So, moral of the story, just bury a bottle or two of brew. It can hurt, right? Anyway, back to the book. The wedding is ruined, the decorations are trashed, but Libby, because she's honestly the best photographer in town, still managed to get a few stunning shots. And those photos, that's where everything begins. She gets pulled into this whole mysterious world of an old estate. There is also a greenhouse full of ghosts, not literally, but you know what I mean, and a family secret that's about to turn Libby's life completely upside down. But here is the question, is she even ready to hear the truth? All summer long, while Libby shooting wedding after wedding, she keeps asking herself this really big question. What matters more, a happy, stable family life or a career success, money and recognition? I'll be honest with you guys, this book did not grab me right away. At first I actually felt a little lost because the author, Mary Ellen Taylor, jumps back and forth between past and present, and I kept thinking, wait, where am I? But then, then when those two timelines finally clicked together, when everything started making sense, that's when it hit me hard. All these pieces fell into place, and I realized this wasn't just messy storytelling, it was all layered. This story is about deep loss, a painful truth we try to bury, and about an overgrown greenhouse full of
old secrets. And the crazy thing is, once you start uncovering those secrets, you don't feel like a reader anymore. You feel like you are in that family, like you're walking through this garden yourself. So, what I love the most, the way the author writes complicated relationship between spouses, between parents and kids, between generations. She really shows how every single person in a big, tangled family tree actually matters, how their choices ripple through time. This isn't a light, fluffy read. It's cozy in atmosphere, yes, but it's also kind of heartbreaking. It makes you think about acceptance, about not being afraid to look back at your past, and about asking yourself, am I living the life I actually want? So, if you're in the mood for something atmospheric and emotional, with old pictures, whispered secrets, and a slightly creepy greenhouse vibe, so this book is waiting for you. I was honestly so moved by it, and I still catch myself thinking about this greenhouse, assuming the fact I'm reading already next book.
Alright, picture this. You are living in London. You drink your morning tea, go to work, and in the evenings you wrap yourself in a blanket and write a novel. Not just write, you live it. And you have replayed it in your head 100 times, like your favorite movie. And then someone just tells you, time's up, time to get married. Wait, hold on, seriously, what kind of logic is that? Am I some product with an expiration date? Sorry, but I don't have a use by written on my forehead. And then one day, your best friend basically drags you out of the house, put on a dress, we're going a night out. And somehow they end up at a ball, a real ball, goddamn. Men in a tailcoat, sparkling candelabras, live music, and the queen itself is watching you. And this is your debut tonight in the front of the queen. But then Rebecca realizes something really huge. She's not just at any ball, she's inside her own story, the one she secretly wrote and secretly dreamed of seeing with her own eyes, just for a moment. But there's just one little problem, it's 18th century, and everyone around her believes that girls are delicate little flowers and their worth is measured by their dowry, and that flirting is a careful art where every word is perfectly planned. But the main character of Felicia Kingsley's novel, The Girl from Another Time, she's not the shy type. She steps into this world and at first it feels like a dream come true. But are our fairy tales really that beautiful when we actually have to live them? Especially when you don't fall for a prince or a king, but you fall in love with a real pirate, dangerous, charming, the kind that gives you a goosebumps, not just on your skin, but on every single rule of proper behavior. I'll be honest with you, this book is such a treat. I'm reading it literally getting chills because every little detail of the Regency era is written with so much love that you feel like you are right there in that ballroom, smelling the candle wax and hearing the silk rustle. The glances, the hints, the formal courtship. I'm totally obsessed. And at the same time, the author doesn't romanticize the past. She knows 18th century as it really was, all the beauty and all the limits. And I literally cried a few times, and now I'm honestly waiting for the sequel. No matter how much this world pulls me in, I still choose 2026 hot water from the tap, internet, coffee to go, all those modern little comforts, because both are lovely, but honestly, with Wi-Fi and no monthly surprises, life just feels cozier, right? Okay, guys, you know that feeling when you close a book and you're just at peace, but also desperately googling flights to Tokyo? That's exactly where I am right now. Let's be real, you can't actually travel from your couch, but with this book, I swear, I was walking those little Tokyo streets, breathing in the atmosphere, soaking up that culture like I was actually there. Our girl Fiona lands a dream internship in Japan, 2 weeks with one of the best photographers in the world. Sounds perfect, right? Well, plot twist, the big guy himself has some unexpected circumstances, and guess who's taking over as her mentor? Yes, that professor from the university she was head over heels for, and the one who never even looked her way. So she shows up all nervous, bracing for awkwardness, and he doesn't even recognize her. And honestly, that's her golden ticket, because nobody in Japan knows the shy, quiet girl she used to be. So she can finally stop pretending and just be
whoever she wants to be, not who everyone expects her to be. And can you imagine the freedom? But of course, Gabriel eventually figures it out, and he remembers everything, that bold, almost reckless kiss she planted on him in the hallway, and how she bolted right after, without even looking back. Oh my god. I closed this book feeling so warm and grateful, and with this overwhelming urge to visit Japan. It's just stunning the way the author describes the places, the culture. It's not just a fluffy romance you forget the next day, it stays with you and it changed something inside. So this is The Little Tea Shop in Tokyo by Julie Kaplan. If you want a cozy emotional escape with a side of Japanese charm, read it. I'm obsessed. I am not just emotional, I'm in a full-on allegria because I am in love. For real, I want to drop everything right now and pack my bags for Italy. Even though I don't have any tickets. But oh my god, I just want to be where it smells like wine, sunsets, and shady guy drama happening right under the neighbors' noses. And the culprit, The Letter Carrier by Francesca Giannone. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a rule. I always try to summarize the plot in 2 sentences so you know what it's about. But with this book, it does not work. Because it's not about the plot. It's about life. Life is so rich, you could not just summarize it in one plot. But let's be real quick. In the 1940s, a tiny town in Italy. Our main girl is Anna, and she lands a job as a post woman. But she's not just some girl with a mailbag, she's a total rebel. She even wears trousers. Can you imagine that? Back then, that was a massive middle finger to society. Dudes were giving her dirty looks, and she just shrugged and went on delivering letters. She's bold, wise, and lives life her way, not the way she's supposed to live. But The Letter Carrier isn't just about Anna, it's a whole universe of quirky, dramatic, and super real neighbors. So you've got Agatha, a quiet housewife with more skeletons in her closet than dresses. Lorenza, desperate and head over heels, knees shaking in love and ready to do a dumb stuff. Carlo, that sweet winemaker guy who smells like a sunshine. And Carmela, a tough woman who got seriously screwed over by her life. Author put together such a crew of characters that every single one of you will find either yourself or your own nosy neighbor in there. This book isn't "and they live happily ever after" kind of romance. It's a literal portal. You open the book and bam, you hear kids screaming in the street, heels clicking on the cobblestones, and you can literally smell that basil and fried zucchini vibe. But here is the kicker, it's not just a fiction, this story is based on the real events. And me, I think I'm buying tickets tomorrow, or at least to the nearest Italian restaurant. Alright my friends, that's a wrap up on our July book chat. So to sum it up, my absolute favorite of this month was definitely Be Mine Through All Time by Felicia Kingsley, and the biggest disappointment was The Museum of Innocence by Orhan Pamuk. And I have zero regret about being brutally honest about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me as always, but now it's your turn. Drop your July reads in the comments. Maybe you have got a book that could change my mind, or maybe you totally agree with my flops. Hit the like button if you're into honest book reviews, and subscribe so you don't miss my August reads. As for me, I am off to pick my next book. See you soon. Lots of love.